Question number 3. This is about a white solid MHCO3 that dissolves in water and reacts with hydrochloric acid to give a salt. Now, as you can see from this particular equation, the MHCO3, the M must be a group 1 metal or a +1 charge, because the carbonate is -2 charge and the hydrogen has a plus charge. So this +1 and the +1 adds up together to be equivalent to the -2. On the other side of the equation, it also shows MCl. That means the chlorine is -1 and the metal could be +1. Now, let's continue with the question. A student was asked to design an experiment to determine a value for the MR of MHCO3. The student dissolved 1464 milligram of MHCO3 in water and made the solution up to 250 cm3. Whenever any calculation is given in milligram, remember that 1000 milligram is equals to 1 gram. So we can divide this by 1000 to get a value of 1.464 grams. And then it is mixed in water and made up to a volume of 250 cm3. So this is the solution currently that we have in our volumetric flask. 25 cm3 sample of the solution was titrated with 0.10 mole per dm3 hydrochloric acid. The results are shown. So when it says 25 cm3 of the solution was titrated, we got to understand that from here we have taken 25 cm3 solution in a conical flask, and then in a burette we have hydrochloric acid. So the burette has the hydrochloric acid and the MHCO3 is in the conical flask. Now we have been given the reading of rough titer, which we'll discard definitely, and then we have been given reading of 3 other titers. Now, with the understanding that a concordant titer is between 0.1 cm3. So we would have to select 2 values, those that are within 0.1 cm3. In this case, 9.75 and 9.65 is within 0.1 cm3. So remember that HCl is in the burette and the concentration of HCl is mentioned as 0.102 mole per dm3. Now the question says calculate the mean titer and use this to determine the amount in moles of HCl that reacted with 25 cm3 of MHCO3 solution. So mean titer would be always from the concordant titer. 9.75 added to 9.65 divided by 2. This gives us a value of 9.70 cm3. Now we have to calculate the number of moles. Number of moles for HCl. Now HCl concentration is mentioned to us as 0.102 mole per dm3. So to find out the number of moles, we will do volume multiplied by concentration. Now the volume for us is 9.70. But then if you notice, the volume is in cm3. The volume needed for calculating number of moles is dm3. So we will divide it by 1000 to get it in dm3. And then we'll multiply it by concentration, which is 0.102 dm3. Once multiplied, we will get the value and we will try to write it in 3 significant figure. So we get 9.89 times 10 to the power of -4 moles. Now the next part of the question tells us calculate the amount in moles of MHCO3 in 250 cm3 of the solution. Then calculate the experimental value for the MR of MHCO3. Give your answer to appropriate number of significant figures. Now, in order to find out the number of moles of MHCO3 in 250 cm3, we have to understand that when we did the reaction, we did the reaction only with 25 cm3, which was taken from the original 250 cm3 volume. So the original thing had 250 cm3 in our volumetric flask. From there, we had taken only 25 cm3. Now, let's go back to the drawing table and basically let's look into the mole ratio. This equation has a mole ratio of 1 mole to 1 mole to 1 mole, and all of the mole ratios are the same. So whatever mole number of moles of HCl is going to be, it is going to be the same for number of moles of MHCO3. So we will write here number of mole MHCO3, but in this case, this is the number of moles in 25 cm3, which is equivalent to that of the number of moles in HCl due to the same molar ratio. So 9.89 times 10 to the power of minus 4 moles. Then we need to determine the number of moles in 250 cm3. So number of moles, it will be 10 times 9.89 times 10 to the power of minus 4. Now the reason why we are multiplying with 10 is because 250 is exactly 10 times bigger. That's why we are multiplying with 10. So this will give us a mole of 9.89 times 10 to the power of minus 3 of MHCO3. Now we have to find out the experimental value for MHCO3. The way we can do it is, because now we have the number of moles, we can find its MR because we know the starting mass. As you can see, we already quoted the starting mass, which was 1.464. Now to do the MR, we'll use the formula number of mole is equals to mass over MR. Since now we need the MR, we're going to make the MR subject. So MR is equals to number of mole, mass divided by number of mole. So the mass for us in this experiment was 1.464. Now you may show the conversion. I have already shown it before, so I am not writing it down, but you can show the conversion here. So divided by number of moles, which is 9.89 times 10 to the power of minus 3 moles. This will give us a value in 3 significant figure of 148. So the MR of this particular compound is 148 MHCO3. The student identifies use of burette as the largest source of uncertainty in the experiment. Using the same apparatus suggests how the procedure could be improved, reduce the percentage uncertainty in using the burette. Justify your suggested improvement. So whenever a particular student is using burette, a burette has the capacity to measure up to 50 cm3. Using a smaller volume for our titration can be major source of uncertainty. So if we make the hydrochloric acid more dilute, then we would require a bigger volume of that hydrochloric acid. And since we would require a bigger volume of that hydrochloric acid, the percentage uncertainty for that particular process would then decrease. So we can say use less concentrated or dilute solution of HCl, and the justification would be so a larger tighter reading will be needed, and this will reduce the percentage uncertainty. Guys, if you're wondering how using a dilute solution can actually reduce the percentage uncertainty, here have a look. Whenever we are taking reading in a burette, we have a certain problem of reading the burette of a particular value. For example, if the burette reads 0.5, then we cannot read the next decimal place in the burette because it could be somewhere between 0.5 and 0.6. The burette reading increases as we go down. So since the meniscus level can be within these two places, so we have a natural tendency to have an error of plus minus 0.05 cm cube all the time. And then since we will be taking two readings, one at the top, and then we would be taking another reading, one at the bottom. So this adds to this particular error. All right. However, here is the thing that we can do. If we think, for example, the error that we are getting here would be 0.1 cm cube. And then we are measuring a volume of 9 cm cube, or let's say 10 cm cube. So 0.1 divided by 10 times 100, that would give us a value of 1% error. Now consider this. If we were to do the same experiment, but instead our still error would be 0.1 because the reading error cannot be changed. All right. It is our own experimental, it is introduced by us only. So if we are measuring a volume of, for example, let's say 30 cm cube, or let's say we are reading a volume of 40 cm cube, okay, all right, and that would be the case, then multiplying it with 100 would give us 0.25% error. So as you can see, taking a bigger volume can decrease the percentage uncertainty of that particular reading. Another student is required to make up 250 cm cube of an aqueous solution that contains a known mass of MHCO3. This student is provided with a sample bottle containing the MHCO3. Describe the method, including apparatus and practical details that the student should use to prepare the solution. So this question's answer can be divided into three steps. For the first step, the student can use a beaker, a empty clean beaker, and then 2 grams of that MHCO3. The student can carefully place it in the beaker and measure the mass using a top and balance. After that, the student should place beaker on a top and balance and tare. Then transfer the 2 grams of magnesium hydrogen carbonate into the beaker. Record the mass of the beaker to confirm that 2 grams of magnesium hydrogen carbonate has been transferred. Then the student should add distilled water to the beaker and stir until the solid dissolves. Then the student should transfer the solution to the volumetric flask, wash the beaker with distilled water, and add the washing to the volumetric flask. Then fill up the volumetric flask until 250 cm cube mud. Then finally shake to mix the content in the volumetric flask until it fully dissolves and evenly distributed. This answer can also be written in points.